sort of Mercury. And today, we're going to be talking about another physics concept here, particularly involving the multiverse. We're going to be talking about hyperspace. And I got my tappy tea mug here, some nice ginseng tea, so I'll be tapping on that for a little bit in today's video. But essentially, we're going to be talking about this concept of hyperspace and how it relates to a lot of the aspects of reality we see around us, even though that most of the time when we think about these principles in physics, multiverse, parallel dimensions, parallel earths, alternate universes, etc., we don't typically realize the way they relate back to us. So I'm here to fill in the gaps with that today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, get out our tappy marker. Already have it ready. So, we'll start over here. And maybe we'll just start with the concept of what does it mean for something to be parallel. You know, parallel is typically a term we use a lot in like mathematics and stuff when we talk about like things like lines or shapes, but that is precisely translated into like this equation here, because if you have two parallel lines, what does it mean? It means parallel lines never meet. They don't meet unless, and we'll get into the unless part in a second, unless you have, well, I'll just get into it now actually, unless you have something that bridges that, meaning another dimension. So, as you can see here, one-dimensional is a line, two-dimensional, something like a square, three-dimensional, something like a cube. And now I'm going to illustrate, really how we can view this. Illustrate how we can view this. So, if this is 2D, obviously, if we think of this line here, this L, as one universe, and this L as another universe, these two lines, these will go out to infinity and they will never overlap because, as we said, they're parallel. But if you add the dimension here to make it three-dimensional, in this case, because we're illustrating a higher dimension, so this, for example, this is just an example, two-dimensional space. You can add a line here, and now you have three dimensions, and now these parallel universes are connected. So, one of the concepts that kind of relates how we can do this in physics is something like we're dealing with light speed or very fast moving things. So, fast-moving things actually compress these dimensions into almost unified energy. So, you know, I don't think I need to write E equals mc squared here, but according to the way Einstein viewed, things like gravity, energy, light, energy, mass, we're talking about really the convergence of the dimensions of space and time depicted by relativity, and what it basically says is that when you go faster, you also theoretically get heavier, or more energy. More energy translates into mass. So, in essence, what happens is reality starts to bend, almost like similar to when you have a heavy object, like a star or black hole or whatever. Gravity distorts the mesh of space-time. Theoretically, when you move faster, you have a stronger gravitational pull because theoretically that energy is equal to mass, and mass distorts space-time because more mass leads to more gravitational force. And as that gravitational force builds up, it bends the fabric of reality. And theoretically, if one could exceed this speed, 299,792 kilometers per second, which is the speed of light, which is fast enough to go around the Earth 7 times in a second, and you can overcome that speed, break the light speed barrier, you can theoretically travel into some higher dimensional hyperspace in which you can travel between universes, which is one way. Now getting into the other end, when we talk about things like wormholes, which is basically a hyperspatial tunnel that connects 2 points in space and time. So this is space and time going the long way around, which could take, like millions of years, even traveling at the speed of light. But if you have a wormhole, you enter in one end and instantaneously come out the other. And that's because space and time is folded, or reality is folded. And what this means is that, essentially, like here, instead of, going some kind of long route, which is theoretically not even really possible, you tunnel through a higher dimension, and you get there instantaneously, or at the very least, in a shorter amount of time. So this really relates to kind of how we look at things like consciousness as well, right? Third person awareness, that's the aspect of consciousness. Whatever, thing beyond our body, call it soul, consciousness, energy, whatever, sending information down into the physical, down here into Earth, which is first person perspective, us here on the planet, this little dot here. So this is our physical body and us on Earth, and this is our awareness that's sending that energy here from some higher spatial dimensions, from some hyperspatial plane. So, same concept of a wormhole, right? You have this concept of folding reality so that you can connect 2 points instantaneously. Similar to the concept of entanglement, which I will cover in an upcoming video. But this is the basis, right? That we have these dimensions, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension, and yes, I used 2 dimensions here and a 3rd dimension to illustrate this concept, but theoretically you should have like 4 dimension, 5 dimension, 6 dimension, 7 dimensions, up to, mathematically, it's theorized that 11 dimensions can exist in hyperspace, according to physics. They say if you have any dimensions beyond 11 dimensions, it's unstable and it will collapse into 11 dimensions. So, in essence, you have like 4 dimensions. So 1 dimension would be a line, 2 dimensions would be a square, 3 dimensions would be a cube, 4 dimensions would be a tesseract, which of course we cannot visualize because it's in a spatial dimension above that which we are in. We are in 3 dimensions of space plus 1 of time. So we can only see like 3-dimensional objects, 2-dimensional objects, and 1-dimensional objects. Almost like you can theorize, it's almost like somebody looking into a pond and they can see everything in the pond, but whatever's in the pond cannot look up from the water and see us, because whatever's in the pond, we are in hyperspace. So, same kind of concept here. Also, I draw this. I drew this right under this. This is not related to this. This is describing spatial dimensions. This is just describing the parallel Earths. That's why I drew the line here. Same thing here. These are separate concepts. So, here, if you can overcome this barrier here, you can travel between Earths. If you can utilize a wormhole, you can fold space and time, fold reality. You can travel between Earths. So, same thing like is depicted over here with hyperspatial diagram that I have here. If you can utilize that with your consciousness, such as doing things like being objective, entering trance states, or you can detach yourself from your external reality, you can access the ability to move between universes because you're moving beyond your limiting mentality or sensory perception of the world. Sensory perception is the only thing that connects you to this physical reality. If you can disconnect from sensory perception and be in, as they say, no place, no space, no time, nowhere, whatever, in essentially a void or a vacuum, pure void, pure nothing but empty, and then create from the void. Because the void comes from 0 dimensions, you can essentially mentally or in your mind conceptualize the Earth or the reality or the universe that you want to be in and create from that, and then you can overcome the limiting factor, right? So this is all like how you would do it in a physical dimension, but if you want to do it in a way that's actually practical, such as doing it through things like transcendental meditation or any form of conscience transcendence, and transcend your consciousness, and thus integrate that knowledge back into the physical, then you can do that, and then you can travel between universes because you are constantly jumping between them, because you are changing your perspective on the reality. You're changing the way you see the reality, thus changing what actually transpires in the reality, because it's almost like if parallel versions of this circle exist, but only one of this point, this higher dimensional hyperspatial point exists, then all these circles exist beside each other, like is displayed over here with the diagram of the Earths. All of these exist parallel to each other. So what you do is you transcend your perspective into some objective state of pure awareness, and then you can move between them, but you have to create from nothing to then move to whatever Earth you want to be on. So you go up like this, go into nothing but void, and then you come back down and you are on some parallel Earth, and essentially you're jumping through these hyperspatial dimensions every time you dream, which will be another video. But where do you think you go every time you fall asleep? You're going into hyperspace. Hyperspace. You're going into hyperspace. So, anyway, this is the concept for you here of what goes on when you are utilizing this state of dimensional travel. So, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and share this video with anybody who's interested in physics, spirituality, philosophy. I'm very grateful for all the support I've gotten so far. We are on the path to 300 subscribers, so yay! And I love reading your guys' comments in the comment section. You guys always have the most interesting of experiences, and I love hearing your feedback, because really you guys are what is supporting this channel in terms of I guess inspiring me to create more content and giving me new us, because to be honest, I don't get a lot of motivation or aspects of inspiration from anybody around me outside here in the world, like except like a few close friends that I have at college, but essentially that is it. It's just you guys helping this platform run. So I'm very grateful for all your guys' support. I love reading your comments, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at top_sorcerer. I will link all my links in the description below, including my other channel, Moonstruck, which I talk about this stuff in podcast format inside a professional studio. It's a radio show, so you guys can tune in live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you so choose. And I will link all the information to that in the description below. You just go to DC Media Hub, you search up Riot Radio on Google, and just go on at Thursday at 1 p.m. and you can see me live talking about whatever concept I have that week, whether it's black holes or wormholes. The last week or this week past was neutron stars. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see moving forward. If you guys would like to see more stuff on dreaming, more stuff on physics, more things on spirituality, just let me know, and I will do my best to make a video on it. So that is what I have for you today on the Sword of Mercury. And of course, this is brought to you by the Prince of Mercury. And remember once again, to like and subscribe to help support the channel. I do encourage you guys to share this because I feel like our mission here should be to share as much of this as we can with everybody else in the world, so they can also too have a broader perspective on the world around us and be more aware, so they can achieve, whatever they want to achieve in life as well, and yeah, I think that is it. Once again, like and subscribe to help support the channel right here on the Sword of Mercury, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.